Hello and welcome to our YouTube channel. Today we're going to talk about spine. So it's all about the spine. A couple of exercises we're going to use to mobilize the spine. Other exercises are there to strengthening the muscles around it. Are you curious about what we're going to do today? Me too. Let's get started. Good. Now, can we go to the edge of your mat? So that we have the mat in front of us. Good. We're going to do a roll down, but this time we're going to go all the way down until we can touch with our hands the mat. And if you can't touch the mat, then bend your legs. Good. Then walk into the all fours position. Front and relax your feet. We're going to do a couple of cat stretch with the emphasis on your spine. So start rounding your back, lowering your head, and extend your spine and lift your head. Let's do it one more time, each direction, then I'm gonna give you something little to work on. Good. Now let's come to a flat spine. Now the interesting part is, where is the exercise coming from? So which part is starting first? So think of your pelvis when we go again into rounding our back. So you're tucking your pelvis and the spine slowly follows, and last but not least is your head, which is going down. Then when you're in your deepest flex position, round position, you start again from your pelvis, and each vertebrae is following until you go into extension or arching of your spine, and last but not least, you lift your head. And again, tucking your pelvis, round your lower back, all the way up until your upper back and your head, and tucking your pelvis, and then your head is the last body part. Good. Let's do that one last time, just to make this exercise as big as possible. Sometimes you don't see the difference, but you feel the difference. It's gonna be my new Pilates book. You don't see the difference, you feel the difference, and arch into your spine. It's gonna be released in 2095. Good. Now, can you go, yes, into a flat spine again? Yes. And if you have like kind of a little bit of issues with your wrist, you can, yes, either go onto your hands or you can go on down your forearms. Just, I forgot to let you know before that. So now, before we were initiating the exercise from our pelvis, now let's go from our head. So you start your head, so you bring your chin towards your chest, and then you start from there, like a wave rounding your back. Then your head is starting to lift, and the rest of the spine is following. And again, your head, chin to your chest, and you're rounded, and your head is starting. And one last time. It feels like a snake, and there we go. And last but not least, head starting up. It feels like a big movement, but actually it's a small one. Good. When you've done this one, we come back to a straight spine. Now, imagine you're a dog and you like to see and Hannah calls this exercise wagging the tail. So move your pelvis to one side and you move your upper body to also do the same side when you're looking with your hand over your right shoulder. Good. And then you look over to the other side and you move your pelvis to your left. Good. I'm going to change your position, so maybe from here, if that makes sense. So you kind of making this part in between your rib cage and your hip bone small, and the opposite left side long, and then you move over to the other side. And again, right, and then Now, stay with your long spine. I'm going to stay facing you for 1 second so you can see it better, but you can stay where you are. Now, this is the perfect start for our next exercise called thread the needle. So, start lifting your right arm up and you rotate your spine. Make sure that your spine is also rotating, not only your arm is up. And then we come back and you bring your arm in between your hand and your knee, and you can bring your right shoulder all the way down, or going with your pelvis towards your heels. And let's do this again. Same arm, same direction, up and going through, reaching over. And then we have one last time, up and reaching over, maybe a little further if we can. Good. We did it 3 times on your right side. Let's do it 3 times on your left side. And maybe start with your left side lifting your arm, and maybe see or you feel there's more range of motion or less, but try to be gentle and start small, and you're bringing your arm, your hand through, and then with the next couple of repetitions you can go a little deeper into that rotation. And again, up and down and through. And last but not least, up and down through. Good. Now, how can we go from our all fours position onto our backs? We're going to do one of my favorite, I guess we've done already 100 times, my favorite transition, which can be also an exercise. So you're in your all fours position. Either you're on your forearms, it's going to be a little bit more difficult, or you're going to be on your hands. Extend one after the other leg behind you into our high plank position. Good. Now we're going to walk with our feet towards our hands in little baby steps. And you keep your legs bent, and at one point your hands are your feet are more or less in between your hands, and your pelvis is almost on your heels. Good. Now go with your hands behind you. Yes, try to control this way down. Extend your legs and you go all the way down on your back. Nice. Isn't it the most complicated but interesting way? Yes, good. Okay, no, don't want to stay too long in this transition. Let's bend our legs and place our feet on our mat. And this time I would like you to keep your legs completely closed. Open your arms just a little bit to the side so we can anchor ourselves on the floor, so we have a little bit of resistance from our hands and arms. Let's concentrate on our legs. Let's bring these legs to one side until it's comfortable. Don't overdo it. And then bring your knees back up. And we go over to your left side, other side. Good. Let's do that again. And try to keep, of course, your upper body and your pelvis is moving slightly to the side, but have this image that your upper body is not moving at all. Only your pelvis is moving to the side. Sometimes we want to move the head to the opposite direction, but today we're trying to just do it a little different. Then bring your knees to your left. And then we come back. Let's do it one last time, and I would like you to pay attention this time that you're only moving your pelvis to the side. Also, your pelvis is kind of, one side of your pelvis is lifting up. When you come back, it's coming back down. And when you go over to your left side, your right part of your pelvis is lifting up. And then we go back to our starting position. Nice. Can we bring the legs up in tabletop? And I would like you also to keep your legs completely closed and make sure that you have your abdominal wall slightly pulled towards you. We're going to do the same thing with your legs. Move your legs to your right side, but this time again, only until your shoulders are still staying in contact with your mat, and then you're coming back with your legs, and we do the same thing to the other side. So the goal of this exercise is less bringing your legs all the way down. It's actually, when we move again to your right, just moving your pelvis. Good. And then left. And then we're coming back with your legs in tabletop. And we stay there for 1 second. Lift your arms up. Fingertips are facing towards the ceiling. And your arms are moving as less as possible when you do the exact same exercise with your legs and your pelvis again. And also now, when you go to your right side, your left shoulder wants to lift up, but we keep the shoulder on your mat, and the same thing when we go to the other side. Good. And I know these arms want to go as counterweight towards the other side. And then we go one last time each side. And then bring your legs, when you're done, down, and your arms down. Good. Isn't that interesting when you when you have your full attention to this pelvis movement, how much more interesting or how much more muscles you can find. Okay. You're going to keep your feet down, your legs bent, and place your hands behind your head. Elbows are slightly lifted, and we're going to have a couple of chest lifts. So inhale to prepare, exhale, lift your chest, and inhale, you come back. You can start with a small movement, but with each repetition, I would like you to bring your chest a little higher. Good. And last but not least, can we bring our chest up and we keep our chest lifted? And bring your legs again with your chest lifted to tabletop. Legs are completely closed. Yes, we're going to do the same thing with the legs, what we've done before, but your upper body is moving or is trying to move as less as possible. So chest stays lifted. Bring your legs to your right side. Lift your left part of your pelvis up. And bring it back, and we go over to the other side. Good. It's a small movement. And we have one last time each side. Good. And then relax, upper body and legs down if you're done with your right and your left side. Good. Next one. We were talking about transitions, and now we're going to have a transition from lying on your back to seated position, and we're going to do this one with one roll up. So extend your legs and your arms and make yourself as long as possible from your fingertips until your toes. Then you start lifting the arms. Lift your chest, and you come all the way up to a seated position. Good. Don't worry, we're going to come back to the roll-up in a second. For some of you, I know it's the favorite exercise. Good. Then, can we bend your right leg? And your left leg is long, and we're gonna have a flex foot. Only for that, today I had my nicest socks, so you can see my feet. Good, just for today. Then, so right leg is here. Can we take our left arm and hug our right knee? Or you can also bring your hand there or whatever. Good. Place the other hand behind you. Good. Now, again, your left foot is flexed, so we also have a little bit of activity in your left leg. So, pull your knee a little more towards you when you lift up your spine. So try to sit as tall as possible and use the strength of your left arm to pull the knee towards you. Now, look over your right shoulder with your head, and your spine is going into a rotation. You can exhale when you do that. Good. And inhale, you come back. Yes. And again, make your spine as long as possible. Rotate to your right side and use your left arm to go a little further into that rotation, of course, until the point where it feels comfortable. Coming back. And then our third time is we're going to stay in this rotation to your right side. Good. Now, stay there. Give me a nice inhale. With your next exhale, you go a couple of millimeters further. You stay there for next inhale. Next exhale, little further into that rotation. Staying inhale, and last but not least, exhale, go a little further, rotate, and coming back, and you're going to release your legs and your arms. Now, I have this feeling, Cody, if we did to the right, for me now, I'm going to go a little bit like this. For me, this is straight. So I have the feeling I'm already a little bit in that rotation. That means, let's do it to the other side. Good. So, right leg is extended with the flexed foot, left leg is bent, and you're going to hug your knee with your right arm. Left hand is behind you, and try to sit as tall as possible. And we do an exhale, and look over your left shoulder, rotate, and coming back. Maybe the first couple of rotations a little smaller, and then second time a little bigger. And our third time, we stayed in that rotation, making ourselves even longer, sitting even taller. Stay there for an inhale in your rotation. Next exhale, go a little further. Inhale, stay. Exhale, little further. Inhale, stay. Exhale, your biggest rotation. Good. And coming back, release and relax your arms and your legs for 1 second. Good. Now, for some people it's uncomfortable sitting. I call this one in this L shape. If you have this feeling that it's uncomfortable, you can either bend your legs, yes, and bring your feet a little closer to you, because I would like you to sit as tall as possible, and your arms are extended in front of you, and press these palms slightly towards each other, so they're completely closed, like the arms are like this. Good. Inhale to prepare, and we're going to exhale, rotate to your right side, and inhale, coming back, and exhale, you rotate to your left side and back. We're doing the same thing again to your right side, but this time, can we press with your left hand more? So you're pressing with your left hand into the right hand, and maybe you can go a little further and back. When we go to your left rotation, press with your right hand into your left hand a little bit more, and we go over again to your right and back and left. Good. Now we go again to your right side into your rotation, and we stay in that rotation. Start tucking your pelvis, make yourself round. We're going into a half roll back. Or no, we go all the way down. You're rolling on your right side of your spine down. When you're down, bring your arms over your head to the other side and roll up on the left part of your spine. Good. Coming back to your center. We're starting where we came from. Left rotation. Round your lower back. Roll on your left side of your spine. Arms over your head to the other side and rolling up on your right side of your spine. And good. And we go one last time. Right side rotation, rolling down, going over, and rolling up on your left, and back to center, and left, down, to the other side, and coming up. Good. And then relax for one little second your legs. I know maybe for the people that love roll up, maybe that was not the best variation, but it's fun playing with this one because you feel this oblique muscles just in a different way. Okay, now can we go and just for a little oblique work? Yes. So can we go? You can face me, and we all have our left elbow down. Your bottom leg is bent, and your top leg is extended. Make sure that your left elbow is more or less in line with your shoulder, and our top hand is on the bottom hand, and we can bring the bottom hand into a fist. Before we start lifting your pelvis, we need to get into our nice starting position. Means press your forearm down into your mat as if you're trying to push this mat away from you, and you have already a little lift from here. Now make that a little stronger and lift your pelvis up as much as you can and bring it all the way back down. And lift it up again and bring it down. And again up and back and up and down. Last two and good. And last but not least, can we keep our pelvis lifted? Good. As much as you can, as high as you can. Extend your top arm up towards the ceiling. Now we're going to do a little variation of thread the needle. So you bring your upper arm underneath your armpit to the behind you, and you lift your pelvis further, and you come back up to your starting position. Let's do that 3 more times. And down, through, and up. Then we have 2 more times. Up. And one last time. And up. And then bring your pelvis down and relax your arm and your shoulder. Good. Let's do this one on the other side. If you have sometimes in this little side bend or side plank, if you have the feeling that it's too much for your neck here, you can always look down with your head. That's a little bit less tension there. Good. Bottom leg is bent, top leg is extended, bottom hand is fist. Place the top hand on top to support yourself. Let's start lifting and lowering your pelvis. Up and down. Two more times. And last time we kept our pelvis lifted. Extend your top arm up, and we're going to reach through and try to lift your pelvis a little further and reach as much as you can, and coming back up. And again, through. We had 4 repetitions of this exercise. Well, when you reach through, you can exhale Coming back, inhale. And last but not least, and good, and coming back down and relaxing the shoulder and this. Good. But now I mean, me personally, I have the feeling I'm already kind of much more released of my spine. It doesn't have to be in your case sometimes, but I feel I can feel it. Good. Now, let's the next exercise. You can either do it with bent legs, and I would like you to keep your legs more or less hip distance apart, open, or you can extend your legs with your flex feet. That's your decision. Sit as tall as possible and place your hands behind your head, and elbows are facing slightly front, and your shoulders are relaxed. Now, we're trying to make ourselves as round as possible. So you're trying to bring your nose towards your pelvis. And coming back up. So we're going to work for the roundest spine. When we bring our head front, and when we come back, we have our longest spine. And around. Up. And last time. And up. Good. Now we're working on our round spine. Now we're going to keep our flat back. So lean front with your long flat spine and coming back. It could be a small movement, but make sure that it's flat. Two more times. And last time. And back. Good. Before we continue, just relax your arms, shoulders, and your legs for 1 second. Because we're going to do we're going to combine these two exercises into maybe call it rolling through the spine or spine roll, whatever you want to call that. Now, same starting setup, hands behind your head, and we're starting again with this first exercise. So round your back, extend your spine into a diagonal into this flat back, and you come back to your starting position. Again, round it, extend, and up, and round, extend, and up. Last time in this direction, round, extend, and up. Now let's do the opposite direction. So we start with leaning flat back front, and you're starting from your lower part of your back to round, rolling through your spine, coming back up to a seated long spine position. Again, lean front, flat back, starting from your pelvis and up. I like this direction a little bit more because you can really feel like you're rolling, moving through your spine. And last one. And up and relax your arms and your legs. Good. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope your spine feels a little bit more softer, a little smoother, a little bit more awake, let's say. If you can get enough and maybe you want to join one of our live classes, look down in the description. If you want to see another video, go over there, and don't forget to subscribe over there. Thank you so much again for joining me today. Bye.